Welcome back. So let's get started first. All right. VIP box. You see that the performance talk sign is not on. When that sign is on, usually we're on live, finale lap, quality kickback. And those are when you have the opportunity and the times to earn your points towards getting the VIP box. Remember, the VIP box cannot be bought. It is a box that is awarded from me to you for support of the channel, for you being loyal, for you being here. We've already given one out. This is the next one for somebody to get, and it is waiting, and it will be filled with items and along with two other items that are not disclosed. So how do you find out what's in the VIP box? When you show up for the lives or the premieres, the trailer will show automatically, and that will let you know what's in the box. But of course, like I said, there are some items that are undisclosed that you will also have. Plus, there are things in the box, on the box, that you will only see when you get your box. Nobody else will see those unless you share them, of course. But let's get into something that I think is definitely worth talking about, and that is Alex Albon, all right? We know he's been sacked, he's been kicked, he's been racked, and he's been pushed to the back. And I believe rightfully so, given his performance, especially when he was with Red Bull. I don't think Alex asserted himself as aggressive as the team may have wanted him to. Well, not may have, they did want him to, because we could hear several times over the radio them telling him to press, push, to do more. And Alex didn't do what maybe he had thought he wanted to, but maybe he could not do at that time. Maybe there was something going on with Alex as far as his personality, his character, because he is kind of a gentle person. All right. He's not a very, to me, aggressive person. I know I've heard people say that he could be aggressive. Now, whether he knows where to put his nose into and not on the track to try to gain an advantage is different than somebody being purely and characteristically aggressive. All right. That's different. I think that his character didn't translate well into his driving in order to push him a bit harder and further, maybe to do some of those things that might be Max S. You know what I'm saying? Not that we all agree with that anyway. You know, people like Max, Dale Earnhardt, maybe even Schumacher, but Schumacher was eons times galaxies better than Max probably will ever be, and Lewis is so far beyond what Max may ever be, and that is still to be seen. Max still has time, but going back to Alex, I don't think he fit well at that point in time for what Red Bull was trying to do. Now Red Bull has Checo and Max, and I think that's a better pairing for them as far as how they want to move forward. And then, of course, Alex got shifted on back down to, I believe, AlphaTauri at that time. And then he worked himself out of there, which he came from there. He worked himself out of there. I believe that's the right progress. If not, anyway, he worked himself out of the Red Bull camp altogether. Ends up sitting on the bench for some time. But behind the scenes, Alex was actually doing things with Red Bull as Checo was coming in to help develop the RB18. All right. He had input into that car. He had input into what actually, at least this past race in Imola, was successful, aside from the one other time that Red Bull, as just the Red Bull team, would act with Max and Perez, because Red Bull is AlphaTauri. They've had a race every time they haven't finished, and they've had some difficulties, but the car has shown progress. The car has shown promise, and Alex had an input in that, not only in the RB18, but Alex also assisted in lightweight, I think, being a driver's coach or a coach to Yuki. All right. So that's another attribute. That is an attribute for somebody to be in Albon's situation, but yet lend to stick around and help. Now, I'm not going to say there weren't any ulterior motives to him sticking around and helping, right? Because he's probably looking like, maybe I stay in good graces, I stay in continuity, stay in contact, I leave the door open for me to possibly have another shot back here in Red Bull, which I don't know at this point in time. I don't see that happening, right? At least with the Red Bull brother team. Now with the sister team, possibly, you know, depending on what I would say, probably more Gasly than Yuki, depending what Gasly does. But that's what we're also going to talk about here. Williams is on borrowed time, in my opinion. They're on borrowed time. Alex is performing quite well within context of the team that he is with. All right, I'm going to say that within context. I mean, he was hella happy to put the car in points, and he gained the nickname, the Tire Whisperer. I mean, the bro takes the tires 50 plus. I think it might have been 57, 50 plus laps. Basically a zero stop strategy. I'm not saying that's going to happen every time, but for it to happen at any point in time for any driver is something to be said, is something to be talked about, is something to give notice and accolades to. And Albon did that. Now, whether the circumstances where they set the car up so great that tire usage was just so minimal, or the car is so underpowered in certain elements that, you know, it is what it is. But I think there's a contribution of things. I think the driver, because I don't think Alex is a shit driver. I think the car and the setup that they spent time in, and the power unit itself. But either way it goes, he did that. Another thing that I like that he does, he's involved in the development. He's taken that mentality to be involved as a driver to help the team develop the car. And he's shown that not only with himself, but with other drivers with the team he was leaving. Those are good characteristics. He definitely looks highly up on Lewis Hamilton for his contribution with his team on developing a car. We all know Mercedes is not doing what we expect or what we're accustomed to them doing in previous seasons, but let's not be idiots. Let's not be idiots. Mercedes is still performing better than people said that some drivers would have been had they been in other vehicles. Alex is in a Williams and he's performing low to mid tier, right? So how you figure that you could say if Lewis Hamilton, Pierre Gasly would be in a Haas or a Williams and finish last, you're a fool. And if any of you also believe and second that, you're a fool too. And fools get foolery type things, all right? So he praises Lewis Hamilton on that. And I think he looks highly up on Lewis the way he carries himself as a champion, as a legend, and as a GOAT in Formula One, period. With these characteristics, Albon is, I think, putting himself in a place where he may end up with at least 3 teams that I'm going to name. All right. I think Williams is on borrowed time. As far as his contract, $1 million, I believe 2 years. Don't quote me. You can go and try to look, find, you know, all this information sometimes is kind of like, you might find something that's concrete, maybe not, but I think it's 1 million, 2 years. Contracts are negotiable, especially given how things may turn out. And I think there are 3 teams that may consider Alex if things line up, if other drivers don't progress, and if Alex continues to progress. We're only in round 4, right? We're moving on to round 5. We're going to Miami next. If Alex keeps this trajectory in a Williams car, I think Alpine, Alfa Romeo, and Aston Martin are looking at Alex. I think those 3 teams would do themselves some credit to look at Alex Albon. Alpine, Alonso, let's go to Alonso first. We're not going to like harp on it, but let's go to Alonso. I think Alonso's contract is up at the end of this year. Next year is $18 million. Alpine has Ocon as Esteban. So Albon's not a rookie. And although not a rookie, he's not a seasoned vet. Although in the Williams setting, it's crazy. Latifi's been there longer than Alex, but Latifi definitely is not the lead, and he doesn't carry himself as a vet in that team setting. Albon does. So with Albon moving over to Alpine, yes, I see him still carrying that vet setting as far as his mannerism, his characteristics, his experience. But it's really it's not like a standard vet to rookie type setting. And I don't know if that's something Alpine wants, or are they at this point in time, it'll look like Alonso's getting old. We're trying to move toward the future. Maybe we look at Albon. Albon's not going to come in and make waves. He's not going to come in and make waves. He's not going to come in and push his way around. So that's something that they would not have to be worried about. They get off that $18 million. I think even Albon at that point in time getting signed with Williams, I think if they gave him $250,000, I think Albon would have signed up. So Alpine can rest assured that $18 million, I don't even think you would have to give Albon $18 million. You could decrease that $8 million, save that money, give him maybe 10, maybe even 6. Honestly. And he takes that with one having to be with a team that definitely is better than Williams and better machinery. Although Alpine seems to be having side pod issues, but they're a better team, all right? And you got a little bit of future mixed in there. You're going to have a little bit more time with Albon and especially Esteban. So with those things, I think that could do well for Alpine. Let's move on to Alfa Romeo. And yeah, we have ZHOU up. All right. And I think his contract was like a 1 year, 1 million, maybe somewhere around there. But he does come with considerable amount of sponsorship money. And he is also the only Chinese driver in Formula One, which gives Formula One and Alfa Romeo access to a market that is not tapped to its full potential as it would be if they did not have that. So is that something that Alfa Romeo says, yeah, we want to get up off of? We have Bottas right now as a vet. He's still performing well. He definitely has the experience coming from a championship team with 8 constructor championships. Do we go ahead and move off ZHOU and hit Albon up and actually try to move into being more competitive? And that's if GUANYU ZHOU does not start performing better. Round 1, he came in 10th, round 2, 11th, round 3, 11th, and round 4, 15th. Whereas Alonso came in 9th, 0, 17, 0. I mean, did not finish a 0 to me. So although there's some potential there with Alfa Romeo, I think it relies more on if ZHOU's contract gets renewed. If he wants to sign with the team, is somebody else looking at ZHOU and he goes somewhere else, and then Albon could get that seat at Alfa Romeo. Those things are a little bit murky. Possible, yes. Likely, I'm not too sure if it's going to be that likely, especially if he continues to perform mid and even gets maybe a podium or so this season, all right? And they do have a good vet to rookie construct right now. The other team I'm going to say is more likely, and that's with Sebastian Vettel at Aston Martin. Right now, his contract, I believe, is going to be up in 2022, 2023, $17 million. You're going to save yourself some money. You're going to be able to move off of Vettel onto Albon for far less than $17 million. You could probably cut that price in half. Like I said, take him to $6 million. You're at that point in time, you're going more than a half. Save yourself that money. Get a driver that you can invest your future in with Alex. And Alex is way more motivated. And I'm going to say that I think that's factual. I think Alex is way more motivated to win than Sebastian has showed us on track. I don't know if Vettel is as motivated to drive in Formula One as he was at one point in time. One of my favorite drivers. Vettel, by far, one of my favorite drivers. I like Vettel. I like his characteristics on and off the track. I like the things he does even when the lights are on and everybody else is going home. I've seen Vettel stay behind and pick up trash. Like his character and his driving, I just like. Vettel's been one of my favorite drivers. But we're talking about business. And if we're talking about business, Aston Martin right now is not performing that great, but they have far more potential than Williams. They're not going to get off Stroll. Stroll's dad is there. He's going to have his job unless it's a Mazepin situation and they get rid of him and then they get rid of Stroll as a result in a combo pack 2-for-1 type thing. I don't see that happening. Once again, Stroll is somebody they're going to want to protect because his dad in the company. I don't think Alex will come in and make waves. Sad to say, Alex also may be one of those drivers that doesn't mind playing the ultimate team game in the second fiddle role until he gets an opportunity. And that might be at a fault to Alex. in his career in Formula One, he might have to get out of that narrative. But yeah, I'd say Aston Martin would do themselves some good looking at Alex to bring him in and moving off of Vettel if they're looking toward the future and they want to try to put their team in a better place for success. They're going to definitely have to do a lot better with developing this car. It would seem that things are not going so well at this point in time, but they definitely have far more potential than Williams. So those are the three teams I think could be possibility landing spots for Alex Albon, the tire whisperer. I want to give full credit to Alex for reinventing or recreating his narrative, because for a moment he was like almost going to be unheard of, forgotten about. And he comes back into Williams with Williams losing Russell to Mercedes. A spot opened up. Alex got it. And I think at this point in time, it's early, but I think he has shown that it was well warranted to give him that opportunity back in Formula One on the grid and show his potential, what he is, what he can, and maybe what he will be in the future. So I'm saluting Alex, and I'm hoping that he does at some point in time get to one of these destinations and just run up the chart. I don't look at Alex as maybe ever going to be, a Lewis Hamilton, a Schumacher, a Senna, like any of those guys, but definitely highly competitive given the right circumstances, the ingredients, and him making sure that he continues to grow as a driver. So that's what I got to say on that. Williams, you are on borrowed time, especially if, Alex keeps performing at this level. People know that there's a grading curve there with being with Williams. Latifi's not going anywhere. He's straight job security. He's going to be there. And Williams is going to keep him until something shakes where they actually feel they have a boom of growth and we could really be competitive. Let's move off of Latifi and get some drivers in here that could take us to the next level. If that doesn't happen, Latifi will be there crashing up cars, guaranteed, using up salary cap. So, all right, let me know what you think below in the comment sections, what you feel about Alex, his future, his career, what you think about those destination points. If you think there are other teams that I did not mention that you feel could be landing spots for Alex in the next year or two. So, hey, Miami's going to be coming up. Don't forget, we're going to be here with a party. The quality kickback, the finale lap after. I'm going to pop bottles here for that, celebrating that USGP opening. I wish I could be there, but I got a lot of shit going on and tickets were sold out. So yeah. All right. Take it easy. Just build it. Peace. Thanks for tuning in and watching another video here at Wolfpack Performance. Check out some of my other content on Formula One issues, our topics, and our DIY products on how to customize your vehicle. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.